Alright, this is Andrew Stevens, and we're going to look at the second part of the operations report for Indy Parks and Recreation. This section of the video is going to focus specifically on Section 6. That's the program analysis section. This section is a little longer and will require a little bit of time for analysis on your part, although it shouldn't take too long. Your first step in determining your program analysis is to follow the instructions in the first comment box. You're going to go into the class reporting system and you're going to run a class program status report showing all sessions, your complex, a course start date of 01/01 of last year, a course end date of 12/31 of last year, and then on the right hand side there are four statuses. It's like canceled, completed, current. You'll select that we want to view all four of those statuses. Run the report and you can go ahead and print that one so you have a hard copy. Throughout the program analysis, we're not looking for any description of the program. If we need the description of the program, we can go back to a fun guide or we can look it up in the system. Again, this is an analysis paper looking at the previous year. So, as we scroll down, we're going to see the analysis boxes. And the first box you come to, the first table, is going to be the totals table. We'll come back to that in a moment. In the first table that you reach, you want to begin alphabetical through your programs list that you just printed out. You want to type the activity name in. We're looking at total umbrella activities, not individual classes. We don't need you to go through and indicate which, this for every class, every course you offer, each barcode. But we do want it for every encompassing activity. So you may offer beginning ballet in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. You may have 3 classes each or 3 courses each, so you offer it 9 times. We only need 1 record for each activity, so there would only be 1 beginning ballet, and you would use the summative data at the end of each section. So the beginning ballet, you will see a total line on your report from class. So the sections in the tables, the first one is name. That's obviously the program or activity name. Quantity is the number of courses or sessions you offered of a single program, regardless of whether the course ran or not. So we were talking about the beginning ballet, offered it 3 times in 3 different sessions. In 3 different seasons. So that's a total of 9. Canceled is the number of courses that you did not run. You may need to look up above and count how many canceled classes you have. And that includes classes that have 0 attendance or 0 attendees. The total minimum number of registrants for all courses offered of a single program. The total maximum number of registrants for all courses offered of a single program. That should be on the totals line. Registered is going to be the total customers registered for all courses, again on the totals line for each activity, and the same thing with waitlisted customers. Then we want you to go back up to the list of all the courses offered and count the number of times that the courses failed to meet minimum numbers. And then count the number of times and indicate the number of times that the course exceeded or met the maximum number. So if the maximum was 10 and they had 10 people registered, you would count that in this greater than maximum. The next section is a little bit more in depth, and it's kind of new, and it's the BCG rating, and basically it's explained in very basic detail in this section here of the table. You're going to indicate for each activity, is it a question mark, a cow, a star, or a dog? And there's basic information given here, and we're going to switch over to an internet window, and if you type in BCG matrix into Google, there is a pretty good article BCG Matrix Explained with ValueBasedManagement.net. If we go to this, you'll see the basic layout here and some definitions. But basically, BCG stands for Boston Consulting Group. It's the name of the group that actually came up with this idea. And all it is a product portfolio and a product life cycle management tool. Just like a business, just like anything, our programs have a life cycle. They start off, they go through a maturing phase, they go through adulthood, and then they die off. And what we're trying to do is identify where in the program life cycle each of our activities is. And this can only be done through the intuition of the programmer. And it's important to keep this in mind because you'll find that the ones that are considered question marks or dogs are actually very expensive to run. Those are the ones where we're not seeing a lot of return on the money that we invest, but we are hoping to go somewhere with one of the other ones, with one of them, and then we're hoping to maybe modify the second one. So let's talk our way through this. We'll start over here in the first quadrant, and this is the question marks. These are going to be your new entries into your product line. So we don't know if there's going to be a demand for this item or not. So this when we start this program, it's usually very cash hungry. It's going to take a lot of money to get this program off the ground. And we're gonna look at running this program with numbers below our minimum for a period of time to try to seed the program. After running it one or two times, we should have a good idea if it's going to grow or if we need to divest ourselves of the program. If the program begins to grow, it soon should turn into a star. This is the maturity phase, where we start to see high business growth, and then we also see a high market share, which means that people are really interested in it, and they see us as a good provider of that program, of that product. After it goes through the maturity phase, you're going to begin to see an increase up. You're going to see the line ramp up of the number of people and the number of courses you have to offer to fill demand. As you start to creep over the top of that curve, it's going to turn into a cash cow, and it may level off for a while. It may be something like a junior basketball league where there seems to be very strong demand for it, and it's a strong program, but we're going to see a lower potential for growth, which means we don't think it's going to expand anymore, but we're still going to remain strong in the market. That's going to be our cash cows, where we don't see it growing anymore, but we still have a pretty good market share. We have a lot of people using it. That's a cash cow, and you would indicate that with the word cow. And we move to the fourth quadrant, which is our dog. Dogs are a low market share and a low outlook for growth. These are usually ones that we look to divest, or we look to rebrand and refresh, maybe with a new instructor, maybe with a new offering time, a new name, or it might be something worthwhile to stop the program for a period of time and look at relaunching the program in 1 or 2 seasons or years. So this is written out in more detail over here. Again, if you go back to Google, there's all kinds of other information on it. It's a fairly well-known tool for measuring this kind of stuff. So I hope you will, as you go through in our program analysis, you will take some time and really think about each program and try to figure out where each program lays in that matrix. we don't want all of one, though. We don't want everything to be a star. We don't want everything to be a cow. We have to have a good diversity of all of our programs. So it is important that you sit down, and as you're planning, you need to make sure that we have new programs that are coming into the pipeline. We have old programs that we're divesting ourselves of. It needs to be a continuing process of new life and program death. So we need to make sure that we're cycling through that. The next section on the box is continue. Should the program be continued into the future? Yes or no. It's pretty simple. That doesn't mean you can't go back to it again if you say no. We're truthfully, I really shouldn't run this again next year. That doesn't mean you can't, in 2 years from now, run it again. In fact, that might be a good, shrewd business idea to refresh a program that you've already had some success with that may have slowed off in an effort to amplify demand. So you just indicate yes or no. Now, say we were talking about the beginning ballet program. Say we ran it in the spring and it did okay. Summer it started to weaken and we decided not to run it in fall. We can go ahead and put no in there that we are currently not continuing that program that we already have. Cut that program during the year. So you can't put a no in there for that. And then comments. This is just going to be general comments. We really need comments for everything that's a question mark or dog rating to kind of discuss what makes it a question mark or a dog rating, and kind of add in there where you see us going with the question marks and the dog. Do you see this as a program that's going to see increased demand, increased use? Or if it's a dog, is it just the very beginning of being a dog? Is this something that you're hoping to rebrand and try to make it into a question mark again? Kind of let us know what your thoughts are under the comments box for each one of the activities. We're going to go back up to the totals box after we've completed all the activities below. And some of this information will come from the very last lines on that class report. The quantity of courses run, you'll have to actually go through all of the blanks below and add that up. Same thing with canceled, but total min, total max, total registered, total waitlisted. You'll be able to get that information from the bottom line. And then less than min and greater than max, you will need to add up, again, all the boxes below. If you need more of these tables, when you hover over it, you'll get this little plus arrows button. You can click on that and then right click and you can get copy. And then you can simply go to the bottom and do a right click paste or a control V to put in more of those tables. I put one hard return in between each table. That concludes section 2 on programs.